At the beginning of 2017, I decided that my New Year's resolution was going to be not to buy any new clothes for the whole year. And I decided that because I'd been thinking about fast fashion and the disposable nature of clothing. So I noticed that it had become a real habit for me to, whenever I had some spare time and I was in town or at the supermarket, just to browse the clothes. And if something was really cheap and I liked it, to buy it. And it didn't matter if I ended up not wearing it because it was cheap, and so it didn't matter. And I began to think about the kind of disposable nature of clothes and how surely it actually did matter, because there's an impact on the planet, on the people who've created those clothes, on the whole fashion industry. And for me, it isn't really about fashion as such. As you can see, it's not that I kind of follow the latest fashion, but it was more about a question of, I enjoy clothes and I like them, but what's appropriate in terms of buying? What is it okay to do? And what are you saying by the choices and decisions you make about the clothes that you buy? And I thought, surely there must be a consequence of having these things so cheaply that somebody somewhere must be paying a huge price to offer these clothes so cheaply. So I began to read a little bit about fast fashion, and I realised that there is in fact a huge cost. The UK fashion industry is valued at around 26 million a year, which is absolutely huge. And at the beginning of the year, Sainsbury's did some research about clothes, and they said in the spring clean that people will do in April 17, about 235 million pieces of clothing would go straight to landfill when people cleared them out. Because one of the things about fast fashion is it's made for a short period of time, so it doesn't last. So the clothing is made, somebody wears it for a bit, it falls apart and they chuck it. And of course the environmental cost of that is huge. And then I began to think about the human cost of that as well. And something like 80% of people in the garment making industry are women, and a really large percentage of those are young women. And a lot of the research suggests that the way the industry works means that it's keeping them in the poverty trap, because they work such long hours for such little money, because the fashion industry is all about turnover. It's all about cheap and quick. And so the way they are treated, of course, reflects that. And there have been various stories this year about unsafe working environments and fires and different things that have had huge effect on people working in that industry. So it wasn't really for me about, a kind of, where do I just buy environmentally sound clothes, or how do you shop? It was partly about breaking the habit. It was partly about stopping and saying, if I don't buy any clothes this year, then I'll rethink how I actually buy things and what that means. So it wasn't so much a kind of what would Jesus do and where would Jesus get his sandals from. It was much more thinking about, what does it mean to take seriously the impact that my choices have on people in the garment making industry. I haven't quite managed it. So I bought 2 pairs of tights, which were allowed on my rule. And then when I was in America, I did buy some new clothes, because I decided when you're abroad, it doesn't count either, which I know is really cheating. But I am going to carry on buying mostly second-hand things, I think, because it feels so much better than just adding to the whole kind of frenzied buying of quick turnover fashion. So my decision is to try and be really mindful about that, and to encourage other people to try and just think about, when you buy stuff, what's the impact of it, and what are you doing, and what might you do differently, aware of all the kind of implications of fast fashion.